Hi, I'm Anthony Stevenson. You're watching Read Between the Lines.
Welcome back to Read Between the Lines as we continue on in our 4 Down segment. As we're discussing MMA and the epidemic of PEDs, there's a lot of cheaters. They're coming out of the woodwork, and we're discussing that on this week's show. We welcome back Derek Seguin, stand-up comedian. Great to see you.
Nice.
Also, we've got Chris Curtis covering the Habs, Montreal Gazette. Great to see you as well. And to your right, Pierre Juste. All right, gentlemen, Chael Sonnen, a few others have come out, and of course, Anderson Silva now being tested positive for PEDs. It's an epidemic. Something needs to change, but will it?
Well, I think right now we're seeing that the way they're conducting the tests, it's working. But I think we're missing the boat a little bit. It's not really, for me, it's not a surprise. It's a sport that's 20 years in its inception. For sure, guys were going to come out at some point and testing positive. People are reacting like they're surprised, but at the end of the day, these things have been going on from the beginning. It's just that the tests are more stringent now. They know who to test.
And when you look at Georges St. Pierre asking for Olympic-style drug testing when he fought Hendricks,
he was right.
It doesn't look so crazy now.
No.
You thought maybe it was a marketing ploy, or
at the time.
Absolutely,
So.
he was outcasted.
Yeah.
Absolutely.
How could anybody have expected Anderson Silva to have healed that leg without?
I mean, 39 years old. What do you?
If that happened to me, I would still be lying down. If my leg broken, forget it.
The genesis for this controversy comes from this thing called testosterone replacement therapy, so
Absolutely.
TRT.
Yeah.
A bunch of these guys would go to a doctor, maybe a shady doctor, and just claim, look, I have this low testosterone, which is an extremely rare thing, and yet dozens of professional fighters in the UFC have low testosterone. So Chael Sonnen, Dan Henderson, Nate Marquardt, and the list goes on of these guys who basically were allowed to take some form of steroids because they had low testosterone. And so the first thing the UFC did that was semi-commendable after ignoring the issue for years was say, look, you just can't do that anymore. It's just not, there's too much of a gray area. So I think that's one step in the right direction.
But isn't it hypocritical in the sense that from the organizational standpoint, it's like, well, you can't do this, and they've kind of turned a blind eye to it, and now all of a sudden the guys are being caught. Now it's when they're stepping in, they're saying, okay, we need to bring out new rules, stricter regulations.
It's not only that. I mean, they did the testing before the fight. They knew, like, that someone somewhere knew that Anderson Silva tested positive, and yet they go ahead with it.
That's a problem in itself.
Yeah.
Well, I mean, but in all of this is the most worrisome comment, is it not? With regards to Anderson Silva,
you're letting basically a guy that's coming into the octagon, into the ring. It's a weapon. He's coming in there. It's an unfair advantage, and they knew about the test before. And I believe
Ronda Rousey said that as well. Did she not? She came out recently and said, like, these guys are bringing weapons.
They're
into
bringing
the cage.
weapons. It's dangerous, and it's as if the Nevada State Athletic Commission and the UFC is waiting for a tragedy to happen to react.
I don't believe a boxing commission is corrupt, not for a second.
I think
There's sarcasm.
the best way to solve the problem is just change the rules and make it legal. Not mandatory, but it's legal now. Everybody can do steroids. No one's got an unfair advantage.
Brendan Schaub came out recently and said exactly that.
It's called the Ultimate Fighting Championship.
But
They should be allowed weapons.
The Ultimate Fighting
Championship. Bring in nunchucks and stuff.
It's that balance that I think that is it a moral issue? Is it an ethical issue? I believe that it's not. I don't look at it as a moral issue. At the end of the day, you choose to do whatever you want to do, but it's an ethical issue. And if you allow all these guys to come in on steroids, it's what kind of message are you sending out to the youth out there? People practicing these sports.
In the NFL, you see this in the NFL as well. The on-field product looks amazing. It's fantastic.
Yeah.
But yet the repercussions of what that does to the lower tier guys who says, look, I'm not going to get a title shot unless I use. I'm not going to be able to contend if I don't use. I'm not going to be able to break 1,000 yards if I don't use. I'm not going to be able to run as fast.
So the pressure's there.
So the pressure's there, absolutely. And I think there needs to be change.
But at the end of the day, this isn't, I hate when people say that. But at the end of the day, anyways, this isn't.
No, it's true.
But
it's not, you're not winning a race, you're not getting more yards. You're hitting people in the face.
Exactly.
And if you have an advantage there, it's extremely dangerous. I mean, we're pushing our bodies as far as they can go, and the results can be fatal.
One guy pushing his body is the legend Jaromir Jagr, age 43 years young. And as we come back from break, we're going to be talking about him as we discuss, is he a pretender or contender to come to Montreal? A lot of Habs fans are excited about one of the best coming to our hometown. Stay with us. All that and more happening right here on Read Between the Lines.
Read Between the Lines is brought to you by Diadora. Available at diadora.com.